the Venerable Mary, who was called Marinos, and her father, the Venerable Eugene. February 12th, a devoted daughter disguises herself as a monk to join her father in a monastery, only to endure years of exile and scorn after accepting a false accusation with profound humility. A heads up in the spirit of transparency. Please be advised that this content may include false accusation, exile, and ascetic extremes. In the early 6th century, in the region of Bithynia, lived a devout man named Eugene and his daughter, Mary. Their household was founded upon prayer and the pursuit of a life pleasing to God. When Mary's mother reposed, Eugene resolved to dedicate the remainder of his days entirely to God within the monastic life. He sought to enter a monastery, desiring to embrace the rigorous path of asceticism. Mary, his daughter, possessed a similar zeal for God and a deep love for her father. She could not bear the thought of separation from him, nor did she wish to be compelled into marriage, a path she felt was not her calling. Inspired by a profound desire for ascetic struggle, she conceived a plan. She cut her hair short, dressed herself in men's garments, and presented herself to her father as a young man. Together, they approached a monastery. Eugene introduced his daughter, now disguised as his son, Marinos. The abbot, observing their apparent piety and sincerity, accepted both into the monastic brotherhood. As the monk Marinos, St. Mary commenced a life of intense spiritual labor. She embraced the monastic rule with complete obedience, dedicating herself to fasting, unceasing prayer, and profound humility. Her diligence in spiritual struggles and her unwavering adherence to the directives of the abbot became an example to the other monks. She sought no recognition for her efforts, but rather strove to conceal her spiritual achievements, living in quiet submission and service. After some years of shared asceticism, her father, St. Eugene, reposed peacefully in the Lord. St. Mary, known only as Marinos, bore the grief of her father's passing with spiritual fortitude and continued her monastic labors with renewed zeal, deepening her commitment to the path she had chosen. A pivotal trial in her life occurred when the monastery dispatched the monk Marinos on an errand to a nearby village. Following the custom of the time, Marinos lodged at an inn. During this period, the innkeeper's daughter fell into sin with another man and subsequently became pregnant. To conceal her transgression, she falsely accused the monk Marinos of being the father of her unborn child. The innkeeper, enraged by this accusation, hastened to the monastery and presented his complaint to the abbot, demanding justice. The abbot, deeply disturbed and angered by the report, summoned Marinos. In that moment of severe trial, St. Mary did not reveal her true identity as a woman, which would have instantly proven her innocence. Instead, in an act of profound humility and self-abasement, she accepted the accusation without protest. She replied simply, "I have sinned as a man," and begged for forgiveness. This silent acceptance of unmerited blame mirrored the suffering of Christ. The abbot, convinced of Marinos' guilt, expelled her from the monastery. Cast out from the monastic community, St. Mary found refuge in a simple hut constructed near the monastery gates. When the innkeeper's daughter gave birth, the child was brought to Marinos. With unwavering patience and compassion, she accepted the infant. For several years, she lived in profound poverty and endured public scorn, begging for milk and scraps of food from the local villagers to nourish the child. She bore this immense hardship, the weight of a false accusation, and the daily struggle for sustenance without complaint, serving as a mother to a child not her own, all while maintaining her inner monastic discipline. Witnessing her extraordinary patience and the depth of her humility over the years, the monks of the monastery began to intercede with the abbot on Marinos' behalf. They pleaded for her readmission, moved by her steadfast endurance. The abbot, observing her unwavering spirit through such tribulations, eventually relented. Marinos was permitted to return to the monastery, though she was assigned the harshest and most menial duties as penance for her supposed transgression. She performed these tasks without complaint, serving the brotherhood with the same spirit of obedience and humility she had always demonstrated. She continued this life of severe penance for 3 more years before her blessed repose in the Lord. As the monks prepared the body of their departed brother Marinos for burial, the truth of her life was revealed. Upon disrobing the body, they discovered that the humble monk Marinos was, in fact, a woman. The abbot and the entire brotherhood were overcome with sorrow and awe. They understood the unimaginable depth of her humility, her innocence, and the immense spiritual struggle she had undertaken. With tears, they asked forgiveness of the holy saint for their harsh judgment. News of the revelation reached the innkeeper and his daughter, who, filled with remorse, came to the monastery and confessed their sin before her holy relics. St. Mary's body was buried with great honor within the monastery, and through her intercessions, many miracles of healing were subsequently attributed to her holy relics, testifying to her profound sanctity and witness to Christ.